over to you, our wonderful audience. Do you have any questions for us? That was quick.
Hello everyone, my name is Jude. I am 38, so I don't know if I fall under young adults or old adults.
Some not as young adults.
So I've got a question for you all. I want to assume or make, I suppose all of you, your parents are all Catholics. So if none of you were Catholics, what would make you be here? How would you get here? Or what would interest you to be here if you weren't Catholic?
A free ticket. I'm really serious. And it's a shame that it is that way, but a free ticket and more fun.
Yeah, I've met a lot of young adults this weekend who've actually kind of been invited, through parishes, through recommendations, through different charities. But I have often wondered actually if my parents weren't Catholic, would I be doing any of this? So I mean, thank goodness they are.
Answer?
The reason why I ask the question is because of the future generation, and we need more younger people as well. So I just would like to know, so if I was speaking to any, what would be the conversational point or the turning point to get them this?
To answer you, I think, yes, I'm not here because I'm Catholic, first of all. Yes, I am a Catholic, but I believe in social justice. It is what I believe in. I'm involved in several social causes which I really want to see the change happen, right? The first time I came to this conference, and after then we went to COP28 in Glasgow, and that was me, Michael, and Anna. We were marching under the rain in Glasgow with several, like when I say hundreds of thousands of people in the streets of Glasgow demanding for climate justice. And everyone who I spoke to in that crowd, none of them were Catholics, and that inspired me. So, and I have always, and I've set up this network in Nigeria, where I originally come from. I've set up this network of young climate adults. So, and it goes across different tribes, religions, and all that, because we want the government to do what is right, we want to hold them accountable, and that is the legacy we are trying to, raise over there. And so it doesn't really need to be you being a Catholic or you being a Christian or from a different faith. So to answer your question, if I wasn't a Catholic, I would be here because I believe in social justice. I believe in the cause which everyone here is, trying to discuss, and the challenges we want to be solved.
I'm Chris, I'm 64, so I'm certainly not a young person. Thank you for what you've shared. You really are an inspiration. Your embodiment and commitment to Catholic social teaching is tremendous. I speak as a priest. What expectations do you have, if any, of your parish clergy?
As in, what would we like to see? Yes, okay.
I haven't been to Mass in a while, and that I think kind of says a bit more than I could. But I've seen, the Masses that I've been to, I've only heard 2 priests give a homily on the environment, which drives me up to the freaking wall. It doesn't feel very, a lot of the homilies don't feel relevant, which I think is just an issue across the Catholic Church, really. But also, I went to a church in Milton Keynes, which has a particular, because of scheduling conflicts, barely any priests, and so the lay people lead the Mass without a priest, and it was phenomenal. It was absolutely incredible. Not that priests aren't necessary, obviously, but more involvement for lay people and for young people. For us.
I'd probably say, if anything, what I'd like from a priest would be to step back and let the lay people and really listen. Yeah, it's absolutely. I think there's a massive gap between what we all see and experience outside of the church and what we experience in the church, and the church is very behind what we see outside. Even the tiny things like inclusive language and the lack of inclusive language. But as soon as I hear that in a mass, I just switch off, and all I am is angry for the rest of the mass, and then I walk out and think, well, why did I go? So, yeah, if anything, I'd say for a priest, please. Lay people are fantastic, and they can really do a lot when they feel they don't have to go through a priest. So if anything, I would say, please trust your parishes, because at some point, that's what's got to happen anyway. That would be what I'd ask for a priest. Yeah.
Thank you for asking.
I think we always need to go back to a kind of like priesthood of the sort of, with some rules in place, of like the sort of medieval period, and that sounds really peculiar, but if you think about how the church used to be, it essentially was the welfare state for many people. It provided effectively what we call today social services, healthcare, all these things. And if you think that was when the church was most powerful, I'd argue that's probably when the church was the most sort of active in people's lives. I think what we need to look at is moving the church in a way that's more focused on social action. And I can tell you now, Father Chris is like a fantastic embodiment of that. He is like the ultimate grassroots priest, like Jan Hus of the modern age. But I think that's what needs to be promoted more, because I think if we concentrate on the sort of good works first, I think everything should naturally fall around that. And also definitely on the point of like inclusivity, I mean, I think it's hard being a young person in the Catholic Church. I'm saying that as a bloke, so I can't imagine what it is like being a young lady in the Catholic Church. I think it's incredibly difficult. But yeah, I think definitely a return to a more sort of social action, social provision church. I think that's what I'd like to see.
Hi, so I have a question, just really seeking your advice, I suppose, and maybe even if this is something that you don't have an answer to right now and want to think about and maybe speak to me later on or tomorrow. But at Justice and Peace Scotland just now, we are trying to engage senior secondary school pupils more in Justice and Peace work, like with Catholic social teaching, but also like with their faith. So sort of try to bridge all the things that sort of you guys have been talking about. And one thing that we're looking to do is to try and think of ways to involve maybe 16, 17-year-olds in advocacy in their school communities and their parish communities. And I guess I was just looking for if you have any experience of doing that. I know some of you said you work in schools or work with youth, young people and stuff like that. And obviously some of you are maybe not so far out of school yourself. So just in terms of, you know, what sort of advocacy things could young people do beyond just like a letter writing campaign or signing a petition? Yeah, just looking for some ideas and inspiration. And as I say, if you need time to think about it, then please track me down, because I'd be keen to hear. So thank you.
Well, do you want to go for it? Oh, okay. As a person who's very, very recently been 17, I think I'd like to have a real discussion about this at some point. But mentioned in the introduction that I was awarded with a Gold Faith in Action Award. Thanks. And so basically that's to get that, what happens is it's a initiative in schools, and it's run kind of by the diocese. Sorry?
Simfed, isn't it?
Simfed, yes, thank you. And it's what you have to do is they kind of support young people, but it's kind of encouraging them to start their own projects. Because I just want to assure people that there can be that passion in young people. I know we've talked about how we see a lack of vision and a lack of hope, but there can be that passion if it's facilitated correctly. And 17-year-olds specifically is a great year to do that because that's year 12, so they have a lot more independence and they're not. But I'd say the only difficult thing about it is because you have to be really mindful that they're only there for a year and you can't so you're going to have a repeatable structure in place because you're going to have to work with a completely different set of people each year. But yeah, I'd really like to discuss tomorrow, yeah, definitely.
And I'm surprised Ellen didn't mention this, but a couple of years ago we did what we called a social action day for our diocese.
Oh yeah!
And thankfully Hallam's very small, so we could contact all the schools, all the secondary schools, we arranged essentially a day with workshops for young people, kind of inspired by the conference. We went away and we said we want something that we can bring our friends to, that schools would support and bring other school people to, so we can kind of see this stuff that's going on. So we brought everyone together in the school. We organised the different groups to come in. We had Pax Christi, we had the Columbans, we had CAFOD, and it was fantastic. We finished the day with an action workshop where people planned with their teachers about something they could do in school, and then they went away, and then we did it the next year because it worked really well. But there's definitely ways of doing something that will really inspire people. In fact, we went to Lourdes a couple of years later, didn't we, on a school trip, and someone came up to us and said, "Oh, you two, you were the people who did that day. That was, that's changed. That's changed me." So it's access to things like this, people like yourselves, that really inspire young people. That's the reason we try to get so many people in, because we know from experience it's you guys that actually get us fired up. It's finding out, hold on, there's stuff going on, we didn't know about this, there are issues we didn't know about, and there are people already there doing stuff. So I think having a way to get young people together and see this stuff is fantastic, and there are definitely models and ways of doing that. All in different dioceses with lots of different schools, so absolutely.
I'd also say talk to Chantal.
Yeah. Yes.
I think as well, similarly to what you said, young people do care about social justice issues and they're passionate and they're aware of what's going on. And I think quite often the barrier in terms of the kind of Catholic context is that when young people hear the word Catholic, they don't automatically think social justice, advocacy, activism. So I think that's a big barrier in terms of making the connection between faith and action itself. But I think from what I've seen in schools over the past year, it's empowering for young people to see Catholicism in a different light and to realise that actually Catholic social teaching can inform them feeling empowered and taking action.
Long time.
At last. Hello again. If you had the chance tomorrow to ask the Pope or Pope Francis to change one thing in the church, what might that be?
You might have to give us a minute.
I think female priests would be great. Gay marriage would be lovely. Acceptance of transgender people. Honestly, you name it. It would be nice.
Yeah.
I was going to say gay marriage, but you've stolen that
Yeah,
one.
sorry.
Yeah, I would say because of that kind of, we were talking about the universal language. When I talk to people my age who don't go to a Catholic school and don't really have any experience with Catholicism, the first things they associate with Catholicism are homophobia and sexism. Yeah.
Which is not inaccurate.
Hello. So my name is Eben. I'm from Leeds. I represent Sparks Leeds, as Sir John Bartlett said. Yeah, more than a question, it's a comment actually. Hats off to you all, actually. Hearing you guys speak, gives us hope. Gives, inspires us to do things and get involved and make politics just. It won't happen by itself, isn't it? We have to make it just. We have to get involved to make it just. So you guys are seriously inspirational. Hats off to you all. Yeah. And just to add on to that, what just politics means to me, it has to be based on morality, isn't it? Being pragmatic, compromising your morality does not mean just politics. It should be based on equity, isn't it? Not equality. More than equality, it should be based on equity. And moreover, as you said, this politics should be fun. It should be joyful. Joyfulness does not give you dopamine 24/7, but give you that inner peace. So I'm so happy to be here. It's my first conference, by the way. And hats off to you all, not to me, but to you all. Coming here sort of inspired me very much to get involved and make politics just. Thank you.
I would also like to add married priests.
Just a couple of points on the Nolan principles, which you mentioned. A couple of months ago, just when the election was first announced, I actually listened to a different kind of question time, and I have to say the respectful listening was totally absent. So congratulations on managing to do better than the ones who were actually put up to it as models of how we negotiate and work with each other. But actually, for the first time ever, one of the audience actually asked the panel how they were going to comply with the Nolan principles, and there was a deafening silence because obviously the people on the panel didn't really know either what they were or felt too ashamed to say what they were, because it was perfectly obvious that they wouldn't have been able to put a tick by certainly all of them or most of them. So that was one good thing. And I have to say, from the point of view of our National Justice and Peace Network, we first became involved with this in working with the Quaker Truth and Integrity Group. A couple of years ago they did a session with us, and we were so impressed with the way that they were totally committed to that. And so I'd like to say thank you to them for their contribution as partners to this conference. So that's just another thing. And the other thing, I think we ought to say thank you very much to people who have funded young people to come to this conference. We have actually been seeking funding, and I would have to mention actually the Jesuit Fund for Social Justice. They have funded a good number of young people to come, and it will be wonderful to be able to feed back what has come out of this. And then just for yourselves, I know you've put a lot of work and a lot of preparation into this. So what do you want to do next? What do you want us to do? And what do you want to do with all the efforts and your voices? Because you can't just say, well, that was a really nice way to spend a Saturday evening. We've had a nice weekend. Thank you and goodbye. What do you want to do next? What do you want from us? And what do you want to say? What to do for with us or alongside us and be a young people's focus group for us wise elders, not oldies, although oldies is probably more accurate. Yeah, those are just questions to you, really.
Thanks, Anne. I would say the wise elders, since elderlies wouldn't be appropriate.
Not as young people.
Yeah. What I would want you all to do is teach us more. Yeah. Get us more equipped to carry on this legacy, because we are here because we want to carry on what we've experienced or what we've learned from you all, and we want to be better for also the people who we are going to pass this on to. So keep teaching us, don't keep anyone away from us, so just let it all out so that we will understand. Yeah.
I don't know about you guys, but I really appreciate the opportunity to meet you all. I mean, some of you I've not met, or some of you I only meet at conference. And I think it's really powerful to meet other young people who are interested in any way to get us to meet up more, or to allow us to continue a conversation, which I'm sure we can work out together as well. But I think it's fantastic to have a group that supports each other. So any way to keep a group going is appreciated. Yeah.
I would say I really appreciate the ability to speak. I was really surprised, actually, to be asked. And I think I would want you guys to listen to young people in your life and to expect them to listen to you as well, truly. But really listen in a way that maybe you haven't before. And also on a more practical note, I would say having a young person as a speaker next year, and having shorter sessions.
I'd just say that outreach is really important. So what I'd really like you guys to do is keep talking to young people and show them that there is this path and there is this way to become, more active in their communities, more active in their faith, and more active in politics. And I think it's kind of on us to kind of take that path and really try and follow it.
In this training that I mentioned, one of the things that we had to do together that could be a helpful shorthand for you, would you wish to talk to young people in your life, was we were asked, what breaks your heart and what gives you hope about the future? And that was really good. It was a great jumping off point for us to talk and to really get to the bottom of how young people feel.
Right, well, there you go. That seems to me like the takeaways from that last question were listen and dialogue. So that sort of brought it full circle for me. Thank you for all of your questions. And what's the time? Does anyone have the time? Oh, the clock's up there. We ran over. Okay, so just wrapping up. I want to leave you all here with a challenge, and this kind of speaks to what Anne was asking about, and I think what we've heard here tonight. Often when young people and young adults are asked if they see themselves as leaders, the question is met with a no, not really, or there's maybe a hesitancy in their answering. And I would just like you to ask yourself why that might be. What are they missing out on? What opportunities do they have? If you've come away from this session having learned something, and maybe feeling encouraged to take an opportunity on young leaders or on a young leader, I would like to urge you to do that and to give them a chance. Thank you.